Also, now let me conclude by saying that trust is not something you owe people. Okay, you don't owe anyone anything. Okay, it is something that develops. Okay, like you have to when you feel trust is something that develop when you feel safe and when there is consistency. Okay, so it is not something that you owe. That is something that you feel naturally. You only feel it when you feel safe. Your body knows when you're safe. Okay, and if trust feels difficult for you, okay, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with me. Too. And it means that you have learned to protect yourself in this way. Okay. So when you have learned something, okay, it takes time or it takes proper actions to evolve also. Okay. So always move forward with awareness. Okay. And if this helped you understand trust differently, consider sharing it to someone who might need it. We thank you so much for watching. Hello. So today I am here to talk about something that is very commonly said, okay? And I'm sure that at least you have heard it or you have said it once in your lifetime. So today I'll be talking about trust issues. Okay? So, what are trust issues? Actually, we have heard it a lot of time, right? People often talk it as like trust issues is something that is, you're personally flawed or something. It's like that's my mistake that I have trust issues. Have heard it, I swear. But in psychology, actually, trust difficulties are never considered as an issue or disorder, kind of. Okay, it's not. There is no disorder named trust issues. So what are trust issues actually? Trust issues are nothing but learned responses based on your past experiences. Okay, so in this video, we'll look what trust actually is. We need to know trust in order to know what is trust issue, right? And why it becomes difficult to trust something, and what are some ways that you can deal with it, healthy ways. So, what does trust actually mean? Trust doesn't mean blindly believing something, okay? Or you're being emotionally overexposed. Nothing like that, okay? Trust is an expectation that another person will be consistent, safe, and is predictable, okay? So our brain builds trust through patterns and not through promises. Okay. So when these patterns are broken repeatedly in the past, okay, the brain adapts by becoming cautious. When the pattern doesn't match, your brain will be like, I need to be more cautious. I need to be cautious. Why? Protect you, which is me. Like my brain thinks to protect me. Okay, now let's see why does it become difficult? Okay, how do we develop trust issues or trust? I'll not use the word issues as my professor told me that's not an issue. We'll use the word trust difficulties. Is that okay? Yes. So, why do we develop it? First, you have experienced disappointments repeatedly. Second, you have had faced betrayal or broken promises. Okay. Third is because you have experienced people being emotional inconsistently. Like, got it? Like, they are not consistent. You can't predict them. Okay. And also, you have been in a place where you were vulnerable, but you didn't get any support to it. Okay. So, over all these experiences, your brain starts learning that, it's better to be little more cautious so that we don't have any other risk emotionally. Okay, so it's like trust doesn't disappear or anyone. It's not like you can't trust anyone at all. It just becomes a little more conditioned. Like we can say that, like we update our phones and all. You have updated yourself a little. You don't label it as difficulties as an issue. Like you don't have to label it as an issue, but you can say that is an adaptive coping mechanism. Okay. This is something that you learn throughout your life to adapt to what you have faced. Now let's see what are some common signs that you see. Okay, why, like if you have trust difficulties, what are the common signs that you can see? Firstly, you will be over analyzing people's intention. Why did he do that? Like, what's the purpose for that? Like, what is his intention? Okay. Secondly, you withdraw when you have emotions overwhelming. Okay, you emotionally withdraw from people. Secondly, there are like you have difficulty depending on others. Okay, when I am analyzing people's intention, when I emotionally withdraw, and when it's difficult for me to depend on others, okay, also where you test people instead of openly communicating, you test people. These are some signs that you it might say that you have some trust difficulties. Okay, but these are not any kind of personality disorders or anything. Okay, it's not a disorder at all. It's just things that our body and our brain has learned to do to maintain emotional safety. Now let's learn how to deal with these difficulties. Okay, firstly, what we have to do is blaming stop blaming yourself. Never force yourself to open up to someone or to feel safe. It happens naturally. You need to feel safe naturally. Okay? You don't have to force yourself to, or you don't have to force yourself to, uh, come out of this issue also. Okay? Secondly, you need to start differentiating from your past experience and your present behavior. For example, in the past you had a toxic relationship. So in the present also you're expecting that you're going to have a toxic relationship. That is somewhere we have to, break it. I had a toxic relationship, but now let me see for who he or she is in reality. Okay, do I see any red flags? Okay, in reality, you have to keep the past a little away and start seeing things in reality. What is the reality? Okay, next is you can trust someone very suddenly. You have to build it gradually. Okay, like through, and it takes effort from both the side. For me, I'll say that. Okay, I can be wrong 100%, but I think that in order to build trust, it's a two-way thing. Okay, it's a bridge. Okay, when you see consistency, you start believing or you start trusting. Okay, when the other person is not consistent, he just breaks all the promises all the time, and you're expecting you to trust him, like that is not possible at all, right? And finally, you should always have your boundaries straight. Okay, keep your boundaries rather than having suspicious. Okay, keep your boundaries very clear. Okay, because clear boundaries help the other person also to understand what you need, and it helps you understand what you need. Let me conclude by saying that trust is not something you owe people. Okay, you don't owe anyone anything. Okay, it is something that develops. Okay, like you have to when you feel trust is something that develop when you feel safe and when there is consistency. Okay, so it is not something that you owe. That is something that you feel naturally. You will feel it when you feel safe. Your body knows when you're safe. Okay, and if trust feels difficult for you, okay, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with me. Too. And it means that you have learned it to protect yourself in this way. Okay. So when you have learned something, okay, it takes time or it takes proper actions to evolve also. Okay. So always move forward with awareness. Okay. And if this helped you understand trust differently, consider sharing it to someone who might need it. We thank you so much for watching.